Okay, so you know that feeling, right, when you find like a job that seems too good to be true? You're like, is this a lucky break or am I about to get myself into like something shady?
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. This first-hand account called Pasted Text, where a summer job takes a seriously dark turn.
Oh, wow.
All right, so picture this. It's 2012. Our main character is 15 years old, desperate for a summer job, striking out left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Then they stumble across this Craigslist ad, house cleaning services needed $10 hour, apply by email only.
Okay.
Sounds pretty normal, right?
So far, yeah, pretty standard.
But here's where it gets a little strange. They get a response in like 10 minutes.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah, and not only that, this James character is already offering to like drive them back and forth each day.
Yeah, I mean, those are some red flags right off the bat, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
Especially like at that age when you're so eager to land a job, you might not even think twice about those things.
Right.
Especially when the person seems so normal.
Yeah.
Pasted Text describes James as this like regular dude with a black beard, a Mets cap, even coming across as like friendly and helpful.
Oh, so he's really playing up that nice guy persona, huh? It's almost like they're trying to like lull you into this false sense of security so you don't question anything.
Exactly. And you know what else I thought was weird? The story mentions James was dressed casually.
Oh, yeah. You'd think someone offering a job would be a little bit more professional, right?
Right. Like it's that little voice in your head saying, wait a minute, something's not right here.
Yeah.
But you just push it down because you want the job so badly.
You're just so excited.
Exactly. And honestly, the story really captures that feeling perfectly. Okay, so then the protagonist goes to the house for the first time, and
Okay.
things get even weirder.
Oh, no.
It's quiet, like eerily quiet.
Hmm.
It's stiflingly hot because all the windows are sealed shut. And James says the AC is totally off limits. It's like, what?
That's so strange. I mean, most people would probably just think, oh, that's just a quirky homeowner.
Right.
But those details really point to control tactics. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
isolation, discomfort, making someone reliant on you for basic comfort.
Right.
It's all about creating this environment where the victim feels totally vulnerable and dependent.
And get this, the work isn't even that bad. You're not cleaning out some hoarder's paradise.
Really?
The story emphasizes how easy the work is. Simple tasks, prompt payment.
Okay.
And for 2 whole weeks, it seems almost normal. I bet the protagonist's mom was like so relieved.
Yeah, she's probably thinking my kid finally has like a decent summer job.
Exactly.
This is the insidious part, though, right? Predators often create this period of normalcy, like a honeymoon phase almost,
Yeah.
to gain trust and lower the victim's guard.
Yeah.
Classic grooming,
Mhm.
making the unusual stuff seem less alarming.
Right. And then boom, something happens that
Another one.
completely shatters that feeling of safety.
Okay, so what happens?
So get ready for this. The protagonist wakes up in the middle of the night, goes to get some water, and sees a shadowy figure outside the window.
Oh my God.
They scream, their parents rush in, but the figure is gone.
Wow, that's terrifying.
I know. Talk about creepy.
It really is. And, that incident is crucial. Not only is it terrifying, but it's also manipulative.
Right.
Think about it. It introduces a real tangible threat, so the protagonist feels genuinely unsafe.
Right.
But it could also be a way to gaslight them,
Oh, yeah.
to make them doubt their own sanity.
Totally.
There's no proof,
Yeah.
right? It's all designed to isolate the protagonist even further.
And it's like, who are you going to believe? A scared teenager or a seemingly normal adult?
Exactly.
And from there, things just keep getting more unsettling. The unbearable heat continues. James makes a super inappropriate comment about the protagonist taking their clothes off because it's so hot,
Wicked.
and then announces that he'll be staying home while they work.
Okay. Now, this is where the grooming is becoming more overt.
Yeah.
That joke about taking clothes off, that's not just creepy. It's him trying to normalize that inappropriate behavior,
Yeah.
test boundaries, and see how the protagonist reacts.
Yeah.
And him staying home, that's a major power play. Establishing dominance and control over the situation.
Totally. And this is where Pasted Text takes this heart-stopping turn. While cleaning, the protagonist finds a hidden camera in the bathroom.
Oh, no.
And then under the sink, stacks of VHS tapes labeled with different names, including theirs.
Wow, that's a complete nightmare scenario.
I know. It's terrifying.
And we're not just talking about a weird employer anymore. Those cameras and tapes point to actual criminal activity.
Right.
And the fact that there's a tape with the protagonist's name on it, that means they were targeted specifically.
It's no longer just creepy, it's dangerous.
Exactly.
And the protagonist knows it too. They think Fast claimed to be sick to get out of there.
Smart.
But even in the car, the tension is so thick.
Oh, I bet.
James asks this really menacing question. What were you doing in the bathroom?
Oh, gosh.
At that point, you just know the protagonist has to escape.
Yeah, they have to get out of there.
And thankfully they do.
Oh, good.
They see their chance at a red light bolt from the car, call for help. Wow, that's so brave of them.
I know. It's such a relief. And thankfully, that escape leads to James's arrest.
That's good to hear.
It really is. But it's a reminder that not everyone in that situation would have the same outcome.
Yeah, that's true.
Pasted text goes on to describe how the police find the tapes confirming James's criminal intent.
Wow.
And he's arrested on multiple charges, including child exploitation.
That's good that they found those tapes. It really shows how important it is to report these incidents no matter how scary or embarrassing they might seem.
Absolutely. This whole story is just a powerful reminder that our gut instincts are often right.
They really are.
Yeah.
What's so disturbing is how common this type of manipulation is.
Right.
It often starts subtly with these seemingly harmless actions or comments, and then gradually escalates over time.
Right.
That's why it's so crucial for young people to learn about these tactics and be empowered to recognize and resist them. And that brings up an important question for our listeners. Have you ever been in a situation where your gut was screaming at you that something was wrong, but you just ignored it?
That's a good question to think about.
We'll be back after a quick word from our sponsors to delve even deeper into pasted text and see what we can all learn from this chilling story. You know, as we were talking about before, this story really makes you think about how vulnerable we can all be, especially online.
You're absolutely right. Pasted text is like this chilling reminder that even seemingly harmless online platforms can be used for some really sinister purposes.
Right.
What's even more concerning is this story took place back in 2012.
Right.
Think about how much technology has advanced since then.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Social media, online gaming, even apps that are designed for kids can be potential hunting grounds for predators.
It is scary. It's like a constant race to stay ahead of the curve, right? As technology changes, so do the methods used by people who want to exploit others.
Yeah, that's true.
But instead of getting overwhelmed by that, let's focus on what we can do to protect ourselves and the people we care about.
Yeah, exactly. Knowledge is power. You know, understanding how these predators operate can really be the first line of defense.
Absolutely.
And one of the most common tactics they use is called grooming.
Right.
It's this gradual process of building trust, breaking down defenses, and ultimately manipulating the victim into a vulnerable position.
Okay, so grooming, it's a word we hear a lot, but can you break it down for our listeners? What does it actually look like in practice?
Sure. So imagine this. A predator starts by finding someone vulnerable, someone who might be lonely, seeking attention, or maybe craving validation.
Okay.
Then they shower them with compliments, gifts, or special treatment. They create this sense of being understood and cared for,
Right.
which can be incredibly powerful, especially for someone who might be lacking that in their life.
So it's like they're building this fake relationship based on manipulation.
Exactly.
Ah.
Making the victim feel special, chosen, almost indebted to them. And as that fake relationship develops, the predator starts testing boundaries, pushing limits little by little. It might start with seemingly harmless requests, jokes with sexual undertones or subtle invasions of personal space.
Yeah.
The goal is to gradually desensitize the victim to these behaviors,
Right.
so they're less likely to object as things get worse.
And that's what's so insidious about grooming. It's not always this obvious over-the-top behavior. It can be so subtle, almost insidious,
Right.
making it hard for the victim to even recognize what's happening until it's too late.
Exactly. And the victim might even feel like they're complicit in some way because they haven't really resisted or spoken out.
Yeah.
That's why it's so crucial to understand that grooming is a form of manipulation and the victim is never to blame.
Okay, so we've talked about grooming, but pasted text also highlights another crucial part of these situations: the importance of trusting your instincts.
You know, we often hear that little voice inside us telling us something is wrong, but we're so quick to dismiss it, especially when it comes to someone who seems nice or trustworthy.
Yeah.
But our instincts are there for a reason.
Right.
They're based on our subconscious observations, our gut feeling that something is just off.
It's like in the story, the protagonist noticed James was dressed casually when they first met, and that stuck with them.
Yeah.
It was a subtle inconsistency, but it planted a seed of doubt. And those doubts grew as they encountered more red flags.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to those subtle cues, those gut feelings, that something just isn't right.
Yeah.
Don't ignore them.
Yeah.
Talk to someone you trust. Do some research, or just get out of the situation if you feel uncomfortable.
Right. And I know some people might be thinking, well, I'm an adult. I wouldn't fall for something like this. But the reality is grooming and manipulation can happen to anyone, regardless of age or experience.
That's so true. Predators are often master manipulators, and they can be incredibly charming and persuasive.
Right.
They prey on vulnerabilities, whether it's loneliness, low self-esteem, or simply the desire to be liked and accepted.
And with the rise of online interactions, it's even easier for predators to connect with potential victims.
Right.
Social media, dating apps, online gaming platforms, all of those.
They're all potential avenues for grooming and manipulation.
Yeah, and what makes it even more challenging is that predators often create these fake profiles
Yeah,
using photos and information stolen from real people. So it's really hard to tell who's genuine and who has bad intentions.
right.
So what can our listeners do to stay safe in this digital age?
Well, first and foremost, be cautious about the information you share online.
Okay.
Avoid posting personal details like your home address, your phone number, or your school.
Right.
Be wary of friend requests from people you don't know in real life.
Yeah.
And if someone makes you feel uncomfortable online, block them and report them to the platform.
It's also important to remember that not everyone online is who they say they are.
That's true.
If someone seems too good to be true, they probably are.
Right.
Yeah.
And if someone starts asking you a lot of personal questions, pressuring you to meet up, or sending inappropriate messages, trust your instincts and get out of that situation.
Yeah.
You're not obligated to share personal information or meet up with someone just because they ask. Trust your gut. And if something feels off, it probably is.
And what about those situations where someone...
We can all play a role in creating a safer online environment.
This deep dive into pasted text has been a powerful reminder that even in the digital age, those old warnings about stranger danger are still so relevant.
Yeah, they really are.
But it's not about living in fear.
Right.
It's about being informed, empowered, and connected. By trusting our instincts, communicating openly, and taking those practical steps to protect ourselves and others, we can navigate the online world with confidence and create a safer digital space for everyone.
Well said.
Oh?
And remember, if you or someone you know is experiencing any form of online harassment, manipulation, or exploitation, please reach out for help. There are resources available for people who care, and you don't have to face this alone.
Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, it's easy to get caught up in the fear factor when we talk about online predators.
Yeah.
But I think what's even more important is focusing on empowerment.
Right.
How can we use pasted text to give ourselves and our loved ones practical tools to stay safe?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Fear can be paralyzing.
Right.
But knowledge is empowering. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from pasted text is the focus on open communication.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
talk about that. What does open communication actually look like,
Well, it starts with creating a safe space where young people feel comfortable talking about their online experiences.
Okay,
The good, the bad, and even the confusing.
right.
Encourage them to share any encounters that make them feel uneasy, even if they can't quite put their finger on why.
So it's not just about lecturing them about stranger danger, right?
No, not at all.
It's about building an environment of trust where they feel heard and supported.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's about listening without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes young people might feel embarrassed or ashamed to admit they've been tricked or manipulated online,
Right.
and we need to reassure them that it's okay to ask for help
Right.
and that they're not alone.
And it's not just about talking, right?
Yeah.
It's about taking action.
Yeah.
What are some things that parents, educators, or even friends can do to actually help young people stay safe online?
Well, one practical step is setting clear boundaries and expectations around internet use.
Okay.
That could include things like time limits, approved websites and apps,
Okay.
and open communication about who they're interacting with online.
And I think it's important to emphasize that, monitoring their activity doesn't have to be about spying or invading their privacy.
Right.
It's about being involved and informed,
Yeah,
just like you would with any other part of their life.
exactly. It's about creating a culture of transparency and trust.
Yeah.
And let's be real, technology is constantly evolving. So it's crucial for parents and educators to stay updated on the latest apps and platforms and trends.
Right. So we've talked about communication boundaries and staying informed.
Mhm.
What about those red flags we discussed earlier? What are some signs that someone might not be who they say they are online?
One red flag is inconsistent information.
Okay.
If someone's online profile doesn't match what they're telling you, or if their stories seem to change, that's definitely a cause for concern.
Yeah. And what always makes me suspicious is when someone is way too eager to move the conversation off the platform,
Yeah.
pushing for a phone number or wanting to meet up right away.
That's a great point.
Uh-huh.
And it's so important to remember that you are never obligated to share personal information or meet up with someone just because they ask.
Right.
Trust your gut. And if something feels off, it probably is.
And what about those situations where someone's making you uncomfortable online, but you're not sure if it's like serious enough to report?
Any behavior that makes you feel harassed, threatened, or unsafe is absolutely worth reporting.
Okay.
Most platforms have ways to report abuse,
Right.
and you can always contact law enforcement if you feel like you're in danger.
And I think it's also important to just normalize blocking and unfollowing people online. You don't owe
Yeah.
anyone your time or attention.
Mm.
And if someone is making you feel uncomfortable, you have every right to remove them from your digital space.
Absolutely. And, staying safe online is a shared responsibility. If you see something suspicious, say something. Report it to the platform. Talk to a trusted adult. Or even reach out to law enforcement.
Right.
We can all play a role in creating a safer online environment for everyone.
I think this deep dive into pasted text has been such a powerful reminder that even in the digital age, those old warnings about stranger danger are still so relevant.
They really are.
But it's not about living in fear. It's about being informed, empowered, and connected.
Right.
By trusting our instincts, communicating openly, and taking those practical steps to protect ourselves and others,
Yeah.
we can navigate the online world with confidence and create a safer digital space for everyone.
Well said. And remember, if you or someone you know is experiencing any form of online harassment, manipulation, or exploitation, please reach out for help.
Yes.
There are resources available, people who care, and you don't have to face this alone.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into pasted text.
See you next time.